friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name is Amanda and I'm a homesteader here in Cincinnati, Ohio, Zone 6. Today we have a table full of crap, and that table full of crap is going to become our beautiful outdoor garden in just a matter of weeks. The past few days have been just so incredibly beautiful here in the Cincinnati area. We had a ton of sunshine on Friday, and it just felt so good to be outside and like have the sunshine on my face. Today it was really nice and warm this morning, and then I don't know if you can see it, but you probably can hear it. It's raining outside right now, which just means that all of the flowers that we planted last year are just getting a nice boost from all that rainwater. Today we are going to try to tackle the numerous things that are on my to-do list of planting. I kind of brought my whole setup down to my main floor for ease of moving everything outside once it is time to move things outside. Currently on the grow rack we have strawberries, we have celery, we have our peppers, onions, and then a few other things that haven't quite started sprouting. They may not, because I kind of neglected them for just a tiny bit while they were getting started up, so they might not work out, but we will see what happens. So today is March 7th, March 8th. If it's March 8th, it's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom, I love you. I'm going to see her later today. But that means, depending on the day, we are about April 20th is around when my last estimated frost is, being that it has been so gloriously warm these last few days, and from what I've seen from the Farmer's Almanac, my area is projected to have a earlier last frost. Like, the last frost is supposed to come sooner rather than later this year, which I love, but also means that I might be a little behind in terms of, so your last estimated frost is an estimate, and it should be the same every single year for your particular area, and a lot of things take into account when it comes to figuring out what your last estimated frost is. You can Google it, but your elevation, where you're at, longitudinally, latitude, like based off of where you are in the world, a lot of that plays into what that last frost is. So depending on how the weather system is working every year, it changes just a little bit here or there. But if I can get some things planted outside a little sooner and have like a longer grow season, that'd be awesome. For my area, I have typically around 170 grow days for the entire season. 176, it's around that area. Again, it's an estimate and it changes every single year. So this year I want to go ahead and really double down on my tomato production. Last year, tomatoes did not do well. There's a season for everything. Some seasons are better than others, and you'll have like a bumper crop one year versus the next. Last year I had hardly any tomatoes, and I think that had a lot to do with the available time that I had to actually maintain my garden, so as well as maybe some other conditions. But I'm rambling and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my hands. Alright, so I brought all of my goodies down to this table just to make it a little easier. This is my market table typically, but I'm going to use it as my seed starting table because it is huge and glorious and I can spread out my mess. So today, we said March 8th, April 20th, so that's about about 6.5 weeks until my last estimated frost. So what we have here that we should be starting are a whole bunch of flowers and tomatoes. So I went through and kind of put some little tabs on some of my seeds to know when to start them. My flower section, as you guys know from my previous video, is just kind of a Mod Podge, not really super categorized, but loosely. So we've got some tomatoes, or we've got some flowers that need to be started, as well as tomatoes today. Alright, so we've got our indeterminate, our determinate, and I like to put my cherry tomatoes in a separate box, even though most cherry tomatoes are indeterminate. You can like Google it to see the difference. But I have those in a separate box because I personally do not eat very many cherry tomatoes, but I do grow them to sell. So put those to the side. I'll start with the tomatoes. I have a whole bunch of really dirty pots. I have some clean ones in here, so I'm going to go ahead and actually remove the dirty pots. And grab our clean ones. Got a bucket full of pots. Rinse these guys. Seed starting tray. Separate those. Get a big beautiful blue tray. Last year, in lieu of trying to be more organized, as I feel like every season I'm trying to get just a little bit more organized, I took inventory of the plants that I started. Yes. So I have a spreadsheet that I created, which, because I do sourdough markets, I already had this spreadsheet created for my inventory when selling things. So I just kind of modified it a little bit to fit the plants inventory. So I've got my product, which we're going to be looking at my tomato sheet, the starting quantity, the number that I took to market, as well as the number I saved for my own personal garden, which is important. So this sheet of what I started plus what I sold, what I actually sold, is going to help me determine how many I should be planting. That way I'm not like planting way too many and then just having a bunch of extra plants, which isn't really a problem because I do tend to gift them out. I don't think it was last year, but 2 years ago, I posted in a local Facebook group like, hey, have a whole bunch of extra plants, would love to donate to someone who needs them. And I had someone from a college or a university who was a professor who did like a community garden for her students, and basically all of the all of the produce that came from that garden went back to helping feed those students while they were in college. So that was super cool. So if I have extras, and I'll find a way to give them to individuals who need them. But if I can kind of minimize that so I'm not spending as much money, that'd be good by me too. Okay, so we've got our tomatoes, and last year I sold my plants at 2 different markets. so I've got to look at 2 different inventories. My tomato selection is going to be a little bit different than it was last year, because I like to kind of switch it up every year and try some new things. There are some old favorites in here that I am excited to have back. There are some new ones. From our determinate or our bush tomatoes selection, we have the Napoli, our Ace 55, which I have never tried. The Napoli I tried my first gardening season, so I'm kind of excited to have it back now that I'm a little bit more experienced in the garden and can kind of see what kind of yield we can get from that. We've got the Crimson Sprinter, which I'm not sure if I'm going to start again this year, but we will see. So we got lots of Napoli. And then we have some San Marzano, and then the Gladiator Hybrid, which I really enjoyed from last year. From our indeterminate or our pull tomatoes, we've got the Jersey Devil, which is just another paste tomato, but it is indeterminate. We've got the Paul Robinson, which is a favorite of mine. The German Johnson, Oxheart, which is another really good one. Castelluto Genovese, which is a really large slicer. We've got the just regular old beefsteak, the Cherokee Purple, Black Creme, the Brandywine Red Yellow Blend, which will be fun. We have the Black Grim from the M.I. Gardner versus from Botanical Interest. So I might have to do a side-by-side to see how those guys compare. It could be that these seeds come from the exact same distributor and both companies just, you know, brand them differently. But they could be different. They could be a slightly different variation of the same variety. Then we have some German Johnson and then more Castelluto Genovese, which, again, we've got Baker's Creek versus Botanical Interests. So could be a fun side-by-side of those 2 different tomatoes from those 2 different companies. The next grouping is our cherry tomatoes. We've got the Napa Chardonnay, which is a really fun one. We've got the Yellow Pear, Barry's Crazy Cherry, which is a multiflora, which just means it has a ton of flowers and then produces a ton of different tomatoes. I feel like we only have a couple of those guys in here, so probably starting those guys. Just a regular old sweetie tomato, just a very small red tomato. Brad's Atomic Grape, the Mexico Midget, which is a really fun dwarf variety. I don't know why it's called Mexico Midget. Maybe it's Mexico Midget because the tomatoes are small, but it's not a determinate. We have the Artisan Tiger Stripes, which is one of the few cherry tomatoes that I've tried that I've liked the taste of coming straight off the vine, which for me is not typical. And then we've got the Red Yellow Pear Blend, some Principe Bourgeois, which is like a really nice tomato for sun drying. These are seeds that I saved, not an S, no. I don't know what that means. Little note to myself that I did not. Oh well. We've got some Sweetheart cherries and then the Cherrylicious tomatoes, which I think is just a big, a big mix of a lot of different types of cherry tomatoes. Okay. So, if we go back to our determinate tomatoes, don't know that I'm going to do the Crimson Sprinter. Definitely going to do these from my garden. Did I do these last year? I did not. Okay, maybe we'll do these for me. Got plenty of seeds in there. You can see that guy. Okay. San Marzanos. We brought 14. We sold 7 at this market. We sold none at that market. Let's get some tags. We need a permanent marker. All right, so this year, what I'm doing is a little different with my marking, adding a little more information. So we are doing the name of the tomato, which is Gladiator Hybrid. We are doing how many we're gonna start, which if this is gonna be for my own personal garden, let's see, how many tomatoes did I save for my own garden? 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, 13, 15, 17, 21, 24, 25 tomato plants. And we're gonna do 4 of these guys. So I'm just putting how many I'm going to plant. And then on the back of my tag, it's gonna be for home. And then the date started, which is March 7th. All right. And all of the ones that I decided on, I put here. So our next is the San Marzano. San Marzano, we sold 7, so maybe I'll do, I feel like I saved some for myself too. Ended up doing 5 actually. 25, 31 plants actually for myself. Okay. We are going to San Marzano. 7. We'll do 5 of these guys. 5 of these guys. Like 50. We'll keep this one blank because I don't know actually how many seeds I have in here. But we'll do home/market. I'm gonna do the Jersey Devil just for me. Hi friends, it's day 2 of starting these seeds. I had to go somewhere and by the time that I got home I was not starting seeds. So we're gonna go ahead and get these guys finished up. Where I left off yesterday was getting all of our tags marked, which we've got all of the tomatoes done. And then I went ahead and I started getting all of the soil hydrated, which may need to add a little bit more water, but this will be fine for now. So I filled all of my seed cups, my, what are these, like 2x2 cells, until about here. And essentially what I'm gonna do is put my seeds on top of that layer of soil and then add a little bit more soil on top of that. just so I'm not having to poke so many holes, because some of these guys, oh Luther, what are you doing? What are you doing? Looks like it hurt your feet. It's crazy. Okay, so we're gonna start with this tray. We've got, I think it's 72. It's not 72. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. 32, which may or may not be enough. We may need to make some more, but we'll start with this. What are you doing? You gonna lay up there? Make Sabo jealous. So we've got berries, crazy cherry, and some of these labels I have not put a number of how many seeds I'm starting, because some of the seed packets are a little thinner. They don't have quite as many seeds in there, and I just wanted to wait until I knew how many seeds I had to put how many are on the seed packet. Now, just because I put 10 on this tag does not mean that I'm going to have 10 plants. It's just going to give me an idea of the success rate or the germination rate for those seeds. The germination rate can differ depending on how long I've had the seed packet. So these are from 2024. The germination rate can decline over the years, but I don't really know what I'm putting. I think I'm just putting that as like a little reminder, like, hey, this is how many you have, and we'll just see what happens. So I didn't even count. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, say 9. Berries, crazy cherry. I'm gonna put my little tag in here, and I'll put soil on top of these guys once I'm finished. The seed pack is empty now. Brad's atomic grape. Should probably start all of those too. Yeah. Yep. So we've got that one. That seed does not look viable. We've got 5, 8. And I'm just kind of spacing these out in the soil so that when I go to up pot, I don't have to tear the roots apart as much. But even if you do tear the roots a little bit, it is okay. These tomatoes are pretty resilient. So originally I had these as both home and market, the artisan tiger stripes, but these are seeds that I saved myself. So I'm actually gonna change this to just for home, because I honestly don't know how well I did at isolating the blossom and making sure that it didn't get crossed. So I'm just gonna do it for myself, and I'm just gonna do 3. All of our seeds are on the soil, and it didn't actually take up an entire tray. So I've got a few spaces left here for some flowers, which I'll probably just leave for my own time. The only thing we have left to do for these guys is just top them with some soil. So I'm just gonna take my soil and just try to make sure we don't have any big chunks of bark, and just lightly cover these guys. With any of your seeds, you just want to go ahead and plant them as deep, twice as deep as they are wide, which if you have some really tiny seeds, sometimes that is just surface sowing. Most seed packets will say that light will aid in germination. If that is the case, for tomatoes, they do need to be buried just a little bit, like a 1/16 of an inch of soil, like not hardly anything at all. Because all seeds will be given enough energy to come through the soil, and if they are buried too deep, they won't make it. They'll sprout and they'll grow, and then they will never pierce the surface of the soil if buried too deep. All right, and there we have it. We have all of our tomatoes started for the 2026? Oh my God, 2026 season. If you guys have any question about starting seeds, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. What variety are you most excited about growing this season? This year, I'm really happy and excited to have Paul Robinson back in my garden. I don't think I had it last season. And then also I'm kind of excited for this Ace 55. Never really tried it before, so I'm excited to see how it does. If you guys want to watch any more of my content, I'll go ahead and pop a video up in the corner for you to enjoy until my next upload. But until then, I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to the year, and I will see you guys in the next video.